Welcome to Money Manifestation Mastery podcast with your host, Lara Waldman, where we talk all things money. Big money, big purpose, big power. Waking up your wealth for heart-centered entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and professionals. I am so excited to be here with you. This is the first ever episode of the Money Manifestation Mastery podcast, and I wanted to launch this podcast at this time to celebrate my 45th birthday. This episode is in honor of one of my best friends who died suddenly at the age of 45. And this death, this loss, has absolutely played an important part in waking up my purpose. Do not waste any time. Life is short, life is precious. Let's go hard, love hard, be ourselves fully, and do what we've come here to do. So thank you, Kim. We love you and miss you. So let's talk money manifestation mastery. Why more money? Why big money? When I speak about money and welcoming more money into your life, into your business, into your bank account, I come up against a lot of judgments, criticism, rejection of money. There's a lot of objections to money and having more money. And I understand why, because I had those objections too. I had a lot of judgments about money. I thought it was bad, the root of all evil. The people who had money were greedy. But I have found that there is a beautiful way to work with money. Money as a tool, as a vehicle to share all that you have to share, to give all that you have to give, and to be all that you truly are. I'd like to share this wealth of information with you, everything I've learned over my 25 years on the path of healing, transformation, growth, evolution, following the guidance of my heart and soul and inner wealthy wisdom. This podcast is here to give you everything I've got, share everything that's inside of me, and I hope you enjoy it. I went through some traumatic experiences as a teenager that took me into some deep, dark places. I was self-sabotaging with drugs, alcohol, unhealthy sexual experiences. I developed eating disorders and went into a deep depression and started to withdraw from life. And in the deepest depth of this darkness, something started to wake up inside of me. I started to connect to this inner vision, this inner calling of what I was here to do, the purpose of my life. I was starting to read about energy, spirituality, self-development. I started to search for solutions to feel better in my body. I started learning about health and nutrition. Even in the depth of darkness, there was these little sparks of light that started appearing. And I had this vision. And I knew I was here to speak to the world about the fact that we have the power to consciously create our life. We don't have to be victims of our life. And little did I know where that initial vision, that initial spark would take me. At this time, I thought I was going to be an actress. And I had this spark, this inner guidance to take myself from my hometown in Vancouver, Canada, and fly over to London, England. I had dual citizenship, and I thought, I'm going to study theater in London. This I now know came from my inner guidance, my inspiration, and I followed it because it felt very clear. And as I was going to theater school in London, another spark appeared. I met my now husband, who was a meditator. He meditated twice a day. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need to be a bit more chill like he is. And with a huge amount of resistance, I forced myself to meditate, which I hated. I absolutely hated, but I was very disciplined and set the goal of 20 minutes a day, and I did that. And after a few months of meditating, I was sitting there finding peace and calm in my mind, and I got another vision. And in that vision, I saw that I was a healer. And I didn't know what a healer was, but I knew there was something around working with my hands. And in that moment, I knew that I wasn't going to be an actress and that my new path had been revealed. As beautiful as that sounds, I was in huge resistance and huge contraction against this vision. I remember curling up in the fetal position, sobbing for about a half an hour because I knew in that moment that my life was about to change, and I didn't know where I was going, but I knew that something was calling me forth. This is the moment where I started opening up to the spiritual world, to the energetic realm. My first entry point into health, healing, transformation had been through nutrition, through the body, and through food. So I learned a huge amount around why I'd been suffering so much with gut health issues and just feeling terrible all of the time physically. The next step for me was to really understand the connection between my emotions, my mind, and the energetic world and what was going on there. And this became my new area of special interest. I quickly became a healer, started working with energy, and this was my new profession. This is what I started doing very quickly, working with clients, with energy work. And I started to understand the connection between our physical health, our emotional health, our mental health, and how all levels of our being are interconnected. That our energy, our thoughts, our emotions, and our physical health all dance together. And so I worked with clients within the energetic realm to help them heal, to help them transform, to help them get into flow and harmony with their life. Now, of course, as I was helping others, I was going on a very profound healing journey myself. I had no idea what had been running me, what had been creating my eating disorders, my depression, my anxiety, my ill health, generally feeling terrible most of the time. And I had a quarter-life crisis where I experienced quite severe burnout, and I could no longer continue as I was. I had been very driven, I'd been very visionary, I'd been very career-driven and focused and wanting to create this beautiful vision and have this successful life, but my body was not on board, and I was taken down. I was taken down deep into myself, and I used tools such as meditation, healing work, energy work to navigate through these really difficult life situations, life circumstances. And this is where I started to learn about manifestation and about the power of our mind and how to consciously create the life that we desire. And it woke something up inside of me that I knew was truth. It just felt like truth for me. And I was super interested in exploring that, how our thoughts and our beliefs create our reality. And this has been one of my areas of special interest ever since. So, in this incredible time in my 20s of exploring, discovering, understanding the energy world, the world of our emotions, of our thoughts, and the interplay with our physical body and our physical reality, something happened. I unexpectedly became pregnant with our first child. And although I was young and not planning to have kids at this time, I knew that this little being was to be birthed. I started having dreams of her, and I started to see that this little one was destined to be here with us. So we had our first child, which was incredibly healing for me. It was the start of really rewiring some very wounded patterns from my childhood and learning to reparent myself as I was learning to parent this beautiful new being. And then we had our second child 3 years after that. And this was the moment where we hit another obstacle. I absolutely loved being a mom. It was a huge part of my purpose, and I knew I always wanted children. But at this moment, when we had our 2 children, we really started to experience financial struggle. Now, this was a really interesting moment for me because I had never really thought about money up until this point. I didn't care about money. I wasn't interested in money. It wasn't something I put my focus on. I now understand that, of course, because of my privilege and because of my background, there is some unconscious knowing that I would be supported, which is probably part of the reason why I didn't think about money. If I'd grown up poor, I definitely would have been thinking about money a lot more. But really, I had rejected money and I hadn't realized it until this moment. So at this point, with these 2 little girls being home full time, I was immensely stuck and frustrated. I felt exhausted. The house was a mess. I felt really trapped because I still had this sense of this great purpose inside of me, but felt very limited by our physical circumstances and our physical reality. I knew I wanted to be with my girls, but I was also conflicted because I really wanted to create my career and make an impact. And I felt very confused about that. I remember collapsing on the sofa and asking my inner guidance, what is going on with money and this planet? And this was the moment where I had a beautiful opening. This inner guidance, this inner wisdom came through to me, which it had always done through my healing work, through my meditation work. This inner wisdom, inner guidance came through, but I had never considered communicating with this wealthy wisdom around money. And suddenly I was shown this whole reality that was available to me and to us around money. But it was a completely different reality and a completely different experience with money than I had experienced growing up and that I thought was possible. See, what I didn't realize is that I had a mountain of negative money beliefs, of negative money blocks that were impacting my ability to welcome more money into my life. But I had no idea. It was in the unconscious. It was in a blind spot. And it wasn't until we were so stuck financially and struggling financially that I woke up to even consider thinking about money or talking about money. So what had happened is because I grew up around money and I grew up around wealth, but there was something really missing for me. I would say a deeper level of heart, of soul, of connection, of intimacy. There was still something that was missing, and I was longing for something. I was searching for something. And when I found the spiritual world, the energetic world, the health and healing and transformational world, I felt a deep sense of coming home to who I am, coming home to life, feeling safe, feeling connection. And then that's what I felt was the most important thing. I didn't care about physical things. I didn't care about money. That wasn't important. I'd grown up with it, but it was also empty of something that was most important to me. And I think that heart and soul and connection and intimacy, authenticity is a human need. We need that to feel fulfilled. But what I did was I pendulum swinged from, shut off wealth to a wealth of spirituality, experiencing profound experiences and waking up all these psychic gifts that I didn't know I had, and so much awareness and so much understanding. But then there was still a sever there because I was spiritually wealthy, energetically wealthy, but physically experiencing a type of lack or scarcity. So this is where this beautiful body of work began. Money Manifestation Mastery. And it came through from my inner guidance, from my inner wisdom. And I spent a number of years just working with this very privately. I had so much shame. I had so much fear. I had so many questions and so much doubt around working with money. I had no idea what was stopping me or blocking me. And it's been an extraordinary journey to understand what is going on in the unconscious when it comes to our relationship with money. And this is my body of work now. This has been my special interest for many, many years. And once I got comfortable enough, I was then strongly guided to write my book, Money Manifestation Mastery, launch my first course, Money Manifestation Mastery, and my body of work started to develop and grow, and then started to share this work publicly. And I now have 2 beautiful programs. They're 12-month online programs, the Living Abundance Mastermind, the Living Abundance Leaders, where I serve and connect with clients all around the world, with incredibly big-hearted business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, and investors who are here to make a big impact to the lives of others. It is absolutely beautiful. And I want to share this body of work with you in this podcast. Our mind only knows what it knows. Our mind can only see what it's seen. And yet there's this wealth of wisdom. There's a wealth of information that lives beyond the mind. This wealthy wisdom lives within you, deep inside your body. This wisdom lives around you in life, on this beautiful planet, and as well as the universe, universal energies, source, God, whatever you wish to call it. There is so much more available than we realize. And when we work with money consciously and mindfully, we are bridging the gap between your physical world, your inner world, and the outer world. I experienced physical wealth that was cut off from spiritual wealth, cut off from true connection and intimacy, and that did not feel good. Then I cut off from the physical wealth and went into spiritual wealth, but that also didn't feel good. And now what I am an advocate for, and I hold space for, is something I call integrated wealth, where we can welcome in your inner world of wealth and your outer world of wealth. We are bridging the gap between your inner world and your outer world. And we do that by starting with you. You as the leader of your life, you as the leader of your business, you as the creator. And we have to go within. So we tend to focus outwards, right? We tend to project outwards. We think about what we want in your future. And in order to do that, we need to go within and look at your inner world. Look at what is running you, your thoughts, your beliefs, your programming that's come from your lived experience, but also that has come from your ancestors and also has come from the society that you've grown up in or the religion that you've grown up in. There's a lot of unconscious programming that is currently running you. And what we want to do is get really clear on what it is that you want and what do you need to get into alignment with in order to create that. So what are the thoughts, beliefs, ideas that are supporting what you want? And what are the thoughts and beliefs and ideas that are hindering what you want? So we want to get into alignment. Call it heart, body, soul, business, bank account alignment. And from there, you can get really clear on what's aligned with you, what's not aligned with you. This is a powerful, beautiful path of healing, of evolution, of transformation. And we start right here, right now. When you start to consciously welcome more wealth, more money into your life, your mind will come up with a lot of objections, money blocks, thoughts and ideas that will stop you or block you from moving forward. So one of the ways I like to work with this is to connect to why more money? What is good about welcoming in more money. There are many ways that more money can serve you, can serve your life, and serve all the lives that you touch. And we want to get focused on what are the benefits of more money in an integrated way. If you're welcoming in money that's in alignment with you, that's in alignment with your values, in alignment with your heart, in alignment with your soul, in alignment with your body, where all of you is welcome. What is the power of that? When you are giving from a full cup, when you are thriving on purpose, when all of your needs are met, when you're taking very, very good care of yourself, when you have all the money that you need, your foundations holding you, supporting you, what would happen from that place? I'd like you to take a minute to think about that. So I'd like you to tap into all the money that you need, all the money that you require and desire for yourself is here. What are the benefits of that? How does that serve you? How does that serve you and your life? How does that support you? How does that nourish your needs? And from that place of thriving, where do you go, right? There's a certain amount of money that you need to thrive that meets your baseline needs and your more expanded needs. And we're going to be diving into that more in this podcast. And from there, when your needs are met and you are thriving, what would the benefit be of welcoming in even more money? More money. And this is where we start to tap into the overflow. So for you, for the I, there's only so much that you need. And the benefit of welcoming in even more money, right, from that heart, from that full integration of wealth, what would you be doing from that place? And this is when we're going into service. I like to call it soulful service, where you're using that wealth, that money, as a vehicle for contribution, for giving back, for helping others, for supporting causes that you believe in, for supporting businesses that you believe in, innovation. What is it that's really important to you? What do you feel really passionate about? And how can you use money as a vehicle for that, to support that, to feed that, as a life-giving energy? You have a choice as the leader of your life, as the leader of your finances, as a conscious creator of how you use this money, how you work with it. And I know that when we're working with money consciously and mindfully, we can move mountains with it. We can do so many amazing things. And that simply comes down to a choice. Who do you want to be with money? How do you want to be with money? What kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of business owner do you want to be? What kind of human do you want to be as a wealthy person in this world? So, take a minute to think about the great power of working with money from this integrated place, integrated wealth, the power and the purpose within. And from here, we are waking up your purpose, your creative power, and your true prosperity. I want to inspire you to go for gold, to allow yourself to have, allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to welcome in more and more money in alignment with your heart, body, soul, this beautiful planet, so that you can create ripples of change and transformation, not only to your life, but to all the lives that you touch. Thank you for listening to the Money Manifestation Mastery podcast. If you enjoyed listening, then let's stay in touch. Subscribe to this podcast via your preferred podcast platform. We would love to hear your feedback, so please take a moment to write a review. And if you have any questions and want to reach out, you can visit my website, larawaldman.com, and please send me a private message. I'd love to hear from you via my various social media platforms. I look forward to being with you again next week for episode 2.